Hello, Roadrunner fans. This is JJ Perez, and welcome back to another episode of the 13 Questions podcast, where we sit down and talk with different people inside of UTSA football and ask them the same 13 questions throughout this 2023 season. We're winding down the regular season, and it's been another fun year covering the Roadrunners. Appreciate all of the listens and feedback to this podcast I've gotten. You guys could listen to it on YouTube and any other place where there is major podcast platforms. And I appreciate it. This week's podcast will be the last player interview of the season. And then we'll wrap up next week with a special guest to close out, the 2023 season for podcasts. Again, appreciate everyone listening. It's been a lot of fun. These things are interesting to record because it's like an extra thing everybody has to do. And I started this thing to try and get to know the people at UTSA, the players, a little bit more than off the field than on the field. So hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have. This week on the podcast, we're talking with wide receiver Chris Carpenter, a transfer from Colorado season before last. Chris has become an important part of the team. He kind of emerged last season as an offensive weapon, had that huge kickoff return for a touchdown last year. Last week, he had the punt return for a touchdown, just the third in UTSA history. So today, we talk with UTSA wide receiver Chris Carpenter. JJ Perez here with the 13 Questions podcast with Chris Carpenter. Chris, I started this podcast last year. I'm trying to get to know the guys a little bit, outside of football. So I just ask you the same 13 questions I've been asking everybody else. So number one, you have to pick a chore or obligation to do for 1 year. But if you make it, you don't have to do it the rest of your life. So like your least favorite chore, like what do you want to knock out forever?
Ooh, dishes for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hate dishes.
Yeah,
but
you cook a lot?
Nah, I can only. There's only a certain amount of stuff that I know how to make, but it's rare that I'll cook.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, dishes is a popular one. Yeah. Question number 2: can you describe how you are as a spectator watching a football game?
I've always asked my friends this that quit playing football. So whenever I'm say we're on a bye week and I'm at a game, I always watching like I'm a coach or I'm in the game.
I got
so
you.
I've definitely been that way my whole life.
What about on TV? Do you rewind and look at stuff look at the plays?
No, I actually don't. I take that back. With Oregon, recently I have just because of Coach Stein been there, so and I noticed they use the same stuff. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Question number 3: what's an app on your phone you love using and think other people should know about? It could be a common app or maybe something not so common.
I feel like TikTok. TikTok's pretty common. I use that a lot. So yeah.
You make TikToks? Or you
I do.
Really?
I do make TikToks.
What was the last one you made?
We were actually coming back from North Texas, and we're making a boat with me, Jace Wilson, Jaren. Jaren, we were dancing. Yeah, we were dancing.
What's your TikTok name?
Let me see if I can find it. I'll give it to you.
I got to give the people a shout out there.
I got you. Let's see.
A bunch of my friends are big into TikTok.
Yeah,
and
I'm definitely out there.
I just do the reels on Instagram, and those are just old TikToks.
My TikTok is Chris Carp 3.
Chris Carp 3. All right, we got to check that one out. Question number 4: if you're allowed to relocate anywhere in the world, where else do you think you would want to live and why?
I always ask my mom this, and I told her that I would want to go to the Netherlands or Dubai.
Okay. Yeah. No, those are great ones. Yeah. Question number 5: when you see a hater on Twitter, social media, do you block that person, mute them, ignore, or go back and forth with them? I don't think I've ever seen you go back with anybody.
I've never been the type to go back and forth with somebody. The type of person I am, I actually screenshot it and put it in a I wouldn't say a safe, but in a place where I just just a little folder where I keep all I find this just like disrespect to myself and it's motivation for me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
There's a lot of that stuff out there, right? Yeah, I could imagine what it's like. I see a lot of it, and
Yeah,
I'm not even on the field with you guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. What makes you laugh during football games?
What makes me laugh? Just being around my teammates. Yeah, really. And plus, whenever we're doing some of the games on there, whenever we're putting on the fans make me laugh. They're funny. I love the fans.
That's awesome. Yeah. Who is a person you would be starstruck if you met them?
Ooh. That's tough.
Maybe another football player or someone you look
I wouldn't even say football player. If I had to choose, I'd probably say Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson? Wow.
Yeah,
that's a good one. A big fan there?
Yeah. Love Michael Jackson.
Yeah, awesome. Next question here. What do you do to make yourself feel better when you're having a crappy day?
Talks with my mom and my little brother.
Okay.
And really, my teammates too. Jace Wilson, Jaron Randall, my best friends. So I go to them whenever they're going through something or I'm going through something. So I feel like our relationship's just tight. Yeah.
No, that's a good one. That's a good answer there. Question number 9 of 13. Have you achieved your childhood dream?
I have. Looking back, I never. If you were to ask 7-year-old me, will I be playing college football? I'd say no. I don't know what I'd be doing, but I definitely do feel like I have because I'm living everybody else's dream. Honestly,
the numbers to get to Division I football,
it's hard.
It's
a hard thing to do,
especially from where you come from, right?
Most definitely, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's an awesome answer. Question number 10: what life lessons from a young age stick with you as a young adult?
I say just treating everybody how you want to be treated. Like, you don't know what anybody else is going through, and you could be the person to brighten up their days. So yeah.
Where do you think you picked that up from?
My mom, most definitely. My mom is a pastor, and my grandparents. My grandparents are heavy in church, and I was heavy in church. So always just doing what God would do.
Yeah, I think people will be surprised to hear that. That you're religious. Is that just you mentioned your mom a few times?
Yeah,
you
my
guys
mom.
are real close?
Yeah, my mom's like my best friend. I actually grew up never knowing my father, so it's just being me, my brother, and my mom, and then my grandparent. My grandpa was a huge role in my life as a father figure, and I played the drums at his church. So it was just a blessing to be around them.
Yeah, awesome. That's great to learn there. Question number 11: what is the single most important skill a football player must possess?
Toughness. I feel like if you're not tough, you can't play football.
Yeah. No, that's a great one. Question number 12 of 13. You have to lose all of your memories in your football career, but you get to keep one. One football memory do you want to hold on to for the rest of your life so far?
I have 2, but if I had to choose between one, I feel like my senior year, I went out with a bang my senior night. I had 4 touchdowns in the first half.
Oh, wow.
So I went out with I banged my senior night. Yeah.
No, that's a great one. What was the next one?
The kickoff return.
Yeah.
Kickoff return, for sure.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. Chris, I appreciate you coming on. I got one more question for you, 13 Questions Podcast. Just what's this journey like been to UTSA for you? I know things weren't easy when you got here. You were transfer coming in. Just what have you learned about yourself, and how are things going for you now?
Coming from Colorado, it was like I said, it was a beautiful place earlier. But I mean, I feel like we didn't have much of a culture, and I really wasn't learning anything.
Right.
And coming here, building relationships that I've already had, and then getting to build some more, and getting to be in a place where everybody is on the same goal and we're on the same mission, and everybody loves to be around each other and loves football. I feel like that's where I needed to be, and this is the best spot for me. It was rough coming in just because I didn't understand the coach and I didn't understand what Coach Traylor had built. And in a way, I felt like I wanted to do things my way still, and I just realized I couldn't do that, and I realized I had to grow up and follow, and I feel like I'm where my feet want to be.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's a great answer. Chris, I appreciate you
Thank
coming
you
on the
for having
podcast.
me.
Thanks a
For
lot.
sure.
Yep.
Okay, UTSA wide receiver Chris Carpenter on the 13 Questions podcast. Appreciate Chris taking the time there. Pretty interesting guy. I thought that was, when I was recording that, I thought in the moment it felt like that was going to be one of the better ones of this season just because of how open and genuine Chris appeared to be. So Pretty interesting that he makes TikToks. I gotta find that and send that to all my friends who love TikTok. And then, yeah, I appreciate him talking about his family and his faith. You never know, like, how these guys are raised and what upbringings they have and how that molds them into the person they are and ultimately the player they are. So, pretty interesting conversation with Chris. I appreciate him taking the time and UTSA for setting that up. That'll wrap up this week's 13 Questions podcast. We'll be back next week to close the 2023 podcast season with a special guest to be determined. Thanks.